What's up, guys? It's your boy Zwokey back with another Chris Watts video. Now, what makes me very puzzled on this topic that we're about to talk about, which is fingerprints, is why were 8 prints, different prints to be exact, found on trash bags and around the house, but were never used. Very interesting to look at. Also, Sandy Rzucek called the kids' school 3 times that day. I'm just curious about why. And what we're going to be doing right now is to, and I'm not saying anything bad about Sandy Rzucek. I'm just very curious why, if she was looking for them, or she was probably looking for them and so forth like that. So I just want to look into the Zav Girl's video that a lot of people wanted me to look at and watch, which we're going to do right now. But before we go any further, if you guys could do me a solid favor and subscribe to the YouTube channel by hitting that wiper icon down at the bottom right, hit the bell icon next to it. So when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that Zwokey myself has posted that video. And then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, I'm so thankful for all of you guys. Keep doing what you guys are doing. And then also, for those that would like to, you don't have to, but go over to Zav Girl, subscribe, comment, like, and share. I definitely understand people's discrepancies about that, about Zav Girl, which I'm looking at to find the truth for the Chris Watts case. And a lot of people have been coming forward to me and saying this and that and stuff. And I just want to stop the drama, stop the rumors, stop this and stop that. I'm just looking at for Chris Watts. And hopefully finding evidence that Nicole Kessinger was involved in some shape or form. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Again, I thank you guys for being here, but let's get into it.
Still, I'm just gonna read you a couple different things. So, I don't know if you remember that HLN show or whatever,
Yes,
where they were talking about the prints or whatever, and to me that was the first time I heard that, because I must have missed it in the Discovery.
I thought there was only 2, but apparently there's 8. This is news to me.
Because either I missed it or, well, no, I must have missed it. I must have I probably just overlooked this or something, because it is actually in the Discovery. But I remember when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, why wasn't it in the Discovery? Why did they hold that back? But they didn't. It actually is. Okay. So it's actually on page 1760. I just want to read it to you real quick. So on 10/11/18, I received a copy of CBI lab reports from reporting sections, latent prints, and digital evidence analysis. The latent prints report dated 10/1/18 indicates 8 latent prints suitable for comparison were observed, and major case prints are required for comparison testing. It should be
So we've seen Chris in the prison being footprinted with his foot and toes. We've seen him with his handprints, fingerprints, handprints, and stuff like that. But why was nobody else? Like, I'm probably guessing that they probably fingerprinted Shanann. They probably, well, they wouldn't have never fingerprinted the girls because they're too little. Because the whole discrepancy that Chris Watts kept saying that the girls were murdered by Shanann, because that stupid idea that he got in his head. Why didn't they fingerprint Nicole? They could have done that. So I just
noted the major case prints were collected and submitted to the lab prior to receiving this report. So I provided a scanned copy of the report's placement into the digital case file and hard copy for the physical case file. Nothing further. Okay, so you can see we have at the lab report.
See, I told you. See, fingerprints from Shanann. They fingerprinted her.
You got Shanann, Bella, Celeste, Chris. Okay. So
trace packet.
We have, here's I'm gonna list all this stuff. So we got the blue nitro glove, the black plastic bag, another black plastic bag, the Rake head, the Rake handle, partial Rake handle, fingerprints from Shanann Watts, roll of black trash,
hair collected from inside of item 8. So item 8, plastic bag. So the hair was probably from Shanann, but they fingerprinted Shanann. But what about the other fingerprints. No, there's 8.
Trash bags from work truck, CD containing 25 images of items 6 and 7, trace packet 1, debris from item 7, plastic bag, debris from item 7, paper evidence bag, debris from item 8, plastic bag, debris from item 8, paper evidence bag, and hair collected from inside of item 8. So, in item 8, so hair inside of the black plastic bag, okay? So, if you look, it says 8 latent prints, 7-1 through 7-8. Okay, so 8 latent prints suitable for comparison were observed or developed.
Alrighty, so latent print is a hidden impression of the friction ridges on the fingers, palms, or soles of the feet that has been transferred to another surface. Latent prints are not easily visible and require chemical and physical, photographic, or electronic development to be seen. Latent prints are valuable physical evidence that can be used to solve crimes. They are unique to each person, each identical twin, or even identical twins, and remain persistent throughout a person's life. To develop them, you guys can see right there, once a latent print is found, it is recorded for future comparison. This could be done by photographing the print, lifting it from the surface, or electronically covering it into a digital image. So in this one, they are looking at, let me bring this low so you guys can read everything. So 8 latent prints suitable for comparison were observed or developed on item 7. No latent prints suitable for comparison were observed on development on item 8, 10, and 13, which were no latent prints suitable for comparison were observed on the development of 8, 10, 13, and 38. So 10 was the rake head, 8 was the bag, 13 was the partial rake handle, and 38 roll of black bags from work truck. So the prints that they got from 7 through 1 and through 8, let's go back a little bit. So they got some prints, but they didn't get all the prints. Item 11 was not suitable for latent prints, which what was 11? The rake handle. Okay, so the rake handle was not able to be looked at for prints. Items 7.1, 7.2, 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3 were removed from items 7 and 8 and retained in packet Trea 1. Trea 1 was not suitable for latent prints. But what about the other prints? Items 6 and 35, which 6 was the black bag, and 35 was fingerprints from Shanann. Interesting.
Prints, 7-1 through 7-8. Okay, so 8 latent prints. Suitable.
So there must have been prints on those items that said no latent prints were suitable. There were probably prints on there, but they probably weren't able to be used.
For comparison were observed or developed on item 7. So on the one of the black plastic bags. So no latent prints suitable for comparison were observed or developed on items 8, 10, 13, or 38. So nothing on the other plastic bag, nothing on the rake head, okay? No fingerprints on the partial rake handle.
How much you want to bet there wasn't any fingerprints because they were wearing work gloves? Because I can tell you right now, for people that actually do not rake or do not shovel very much, if you don't use gloves or you don't rake all the time, you're gonna blister. You're gonna blister here. You're gonna blister here. I can't because I have so much calluses on my fingers. But I know with my kids or somebody that doesn't do like normal construction kind of work, you're going to start seeing blisters. Did we see any of that with Nicole? Did we see that with any of Chris? Did they wear work gloves? These are things that we should take in consideration in possibly looking at that. Did they look at her hands to see if there was any blisters or anything? That's just things that they should have looked at.
And no fingerprints on the roll of trash bags from the work truck.
So wearing gloves, probably.
somebody had gloves on, right? He had to have gloves on because
Boom.
how? Okay.
What if he threw those gloves that they were using inside that garbage bin that he threw Celeste and Bella's blankets in?
Okay, so the one plastic bag, yeah. But okay, so how did he get the plastic bags from that roll of trash bags without getting fingerprints on it?
Exactly.
If he didn't have gloves on.
I think
remember he said
on.
he probably grabbed them from downstairs or whatever. I don't know. Well, I mean, why were there no fingerprints? Because he was probably wearing gloves. No fingerprints on the rake, none on the rake handle, the partial rake handle.
And why was the rake head and rake handle broken? Because they were broken. There was a head that was completely opposite of where the rake was. And there was 2 shovels in the back of Chris's truck. I don't see them taking fingerprints from the shovels. Why is there no shovels in here? Shovels contained, shovels looked at. Like, where are those?
What else? Yeah, and the roll of trash bag. So nothing on the rake head, nothing on the partial rake handle, nothing on the roll of trash bag.
They should have fingerprinted all the door handles in the Watts' home. They should have fingerprinted Chris's truck handles, the shovels. The bags were looked at. What about? I was thinking bathrooms, but because that one bathroom didn't have water in it. In that, was it upstairs bathroom? I think it was. There's just a lot of things that were not collected or looked at and should have been. What they should have done too is looked for men residue, that liquid, looked and see if that was on the sheets, or looked and see if there's any fluid with the aluminol light and so forth like that. I mean, it looks for blood, but it also looks for the S word that comes out of men.
Bags, just on that one trash bag, okay? So, and item 11 was not...
Or they could have looked at the bed downstairs and seen if that had anything in it.
Suitable for latent prints analysis. So, the rake handle wasn't suitable. Okay. So, and then it says item 7.1... 7.2, 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3 were removed from item 7.
And do these 8 latent prints that they have collected, are those of one person? Are they of 8 different people? Are they of 3 people? 2 people? Like, why don't we see that they were subjectively looked at and put into the database to see who they were? Were they Chris's? Were they not Chris's? Were they also Nicole? Like, we don't have any of this information.
And 8. So the debris and the hair were removed from the 2 plastic bags, okay, and retained in packet TRA1. And the packet TRA1 was not suitable for latent print analysis and will be forwarded for analysis in other disciplines. Okay, so the debris on 7 and 8 were removed, and the hair was removed, and they were put in. The hair and the debris were removed from the 2 plastic bags, the 2 plastic trash bags,
from Shanann,
and they were put in a packet. And they're saying none of it was suitable for print analysis. Okay, so and then items 6 and 35. So the blue nitrile glove and the fingerprints from Shanann Watts will be analyzed.
Which there was like 2 to 3 different gloves. There's one glove that was on top of the refrigerator. There was a glove that was downstairs in the basement, and there was blue gloves that were inside the garage. So did they get this blue glove out at Survey 319? I'm guessing so, because this is where all this stuff came out from Survey 319.
At a future date. Okay. And the funny thing is, I guess it's not funny, but it's not funny. I don't see any. Let me finish going through it for the 3rd time, but I have not seen any results yet from.
We're still waiting for them.
What they find. It'll be analyzed at a future date. Okay, did they analyze it? What did they find? And then also,
they probably didn't analyze it because D.A. Rourke closed the case.
the prints. I'll show you here where they're supposed to do this comparison, and then, but there's nothing else in the discovery on the results that they found. So you see latents 7.1 through 7.8 were entered into the state database, and a candidate list was generated for each. So the 8 prints that they got were entered in the state database, and a candidate list was generated for each. Based on these lists, no identifications were made. The latents were retained and will continue to be searched against new records entered in the database. So if an identification is made in the future, the submit.
So you're telling me that there was no record of these fingerprints in the database. So this is a person that probably doesn't have a track record, which would be possibly Chris. I don't think do they fingerprint you when you get a DUI? I'm pretty sure that they do. So looking into this a little bit more, I was finding that, if I bring this down for you guys, looking at this, yes, you're supposed to be fingerprinted, but in some different legal questions that were on this AVO and Reddit and stuff like that I read through here, not everybody gets fingerprinted. So what if Nicole, when she got those small charges and stuff like that, and was never fingerprinted because her stuff went away? She was never looked at. What if her fingerprints were the ones that were here?
Submitting agency will be notified. So
if those fingerprints are still inside the database, or not just necessarily the database, but are in the crate, or the evidence that they collected for the Watts case, what if we brought those out and actually used them to see if we could find anybody, or compare them to Nicole, or compare them to Chris? Like, there's so much stuff that they could do.
Did they make identification? I mean, because they do take. Let me finish reading. Sorry. So the latent prints 701 to 708
were suitable for entry into the federal database, but were never entered into at the time due to unknown anatomically origin of the friction ridge impressions. What?
Were suitable for entry into the federal database, but were not entered in at this time.
Why not?
Due to the unknown anatomical origin of the friction ridge impressions.
So
I'm not sure.
Doing this?
Oh.
Ridge?
So, okay, it says
clear and complete major case prints to include palm prints, fingerprints, and barefoot impressions of Chris were done, and Shanann, I told you they did, I knew it, as well as any other party of interest are required for comparison, but NK wasn't done.
They were entered into the database. Oh, they're entered into the state database, but not the federal database for some reason. Okay. So, clear and complete major case prints to include palm prints, fingerprints, barefoot impressions of Christopher L. Watts and Shanann C. Watts, as well as any other party of interest, are required for comparisons to be completed. Item CD1 will be forwarded for further analysis. So they got Shanann's prints, they got Chris's. I mean, they actually have them in the discovery.
So this is Chris Watts's
prints, and we've seen that video where they were getting them. So did they do the comparison? What's the results? There's no results here. They bring in some other people's, and test.
So these are the 4 fingers, and then they do the thumbs, and then they do each individual finger.
Them, because it said it was entered in the state database, just not the federal. So why can't they, bring in everybody that's a part of this case just to make sure? Unless if they did make a match on either Chris or Shanann, but they never, I haven't found it in the Discovery yet. So if any of you guys have seen the results in the Discovery, comment below and let me know what page, because I haven't came across it yet. So also, I wanted to read you the follow-up at Primrose School of Erie at Vista Ridge, because I know in the past people have been asking actually about, I think even during some lives and just some comments about like who was the mysterious woman that called the school, and you know who all called, how many different people called.
She's probably trying to find where her granddaughters were
that morning. So I wanted to read you the document on,
because Chris did say they were supposed to start. Was it that Monday or the following Monday? I do believe. I can't remember.
On, you know, all the callers. Okay, so it's a follow-up at the Primrose School of Erie. So action taken 8/15/18. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation agent Matthew Saylor responded to Primrose School of Erie at Vista Ridge, located at you don't need to know the address to conduct a follow-up. Primrose is the school of Bella Watts and Celeste Watts, who did not show up for the first day of school on 8/13. It was reported that their father, Chris Watts, called the school to advise they would not be attending.
So they were supposed to be there the first day of school, which is the 13th.
Upon arrival at approximately 12:20, I met with the owner, Chris Lang, and spoke with him in his office. Lang said that both Bella and Celeste had attended the school last year, and that their mother, Shanann Watts, had pulled them out for the summer because she was taking them to North Carolina for an extended trip. Lang said that both girls were scheduled to start at the school again when the new year started on 8/13. Lang said that between 8 and 8:15, Shanann Meyer...
So that's why Chris completely called them and pulled them out of school, because... So that makes sense now. But then Sandy Rzucek probably called because she wanted to know, hey, are they at the school? Hey, are they at the school? Hey, are they at the school? I mean, I would do it as a worried parent. She was a worried grandparent.
Received a phone call from the girl's father, Chris, stating that they would not be attending the school. Lang said that Chris then asked Meyer if the girls were at the school. Lang said that Meyer was freaked out by the phone call and later reported it to police. Lang then brought in Carrie Wood, the director of the school. Wood said Shanann's mother called between 8 and 8:30 to ask if the girls were in school. Wood said that Alba Orantes, the assistant director, then spoke with Shanann's mother midday. Wood asked Orantes what time was it that they spoke, and Orantes said that she called around 11:30 again. So
trying to find them. She
called between 8 and 8:30 and asked if the girls were in school, and then she called back around 11:30 again asking if the girls were dropped off. Remember, this is Sandy. This is Shanann's mom that called. Okay, so there's no really mysterious woman or anything. But anyway,
no.
Wood said that she then spoke with Shanann's mother around 1500 hours, which is 3 o'clock, again asking if the girls had been dropped off at the school. Wood advised her that they hadn't been, and the girls' grandmother told Wood that they were missing.
And that's why Sandy was calling Chris saying, where are they? Where are they? They never made it to school. What about Shanann? She's not picking up. So she was on it upon him. He didn't think this through at all. What an idiot.
I then spoke with Meyer by phone, speakerphone in the office. Meyer said that Chris called at about 8:15 on 8/13 and said that after he introduced himself, she told him that they were expecting to see the girls starting at the school, and he replied that he was calling to let them know the girls weren't going to start. He said he wasn't really sure what was going on yet, but that they were going to be moving and putting the house up for sale, and that they were not sure if they were going to stay in the area. Meyer responded with, "That's pretty crazy." Meyer said that Chris then asked, "The girls aren't there, are they?" Meyer said she told Chris no, she hadn't seen them, but to let her check and see if they were clocked in.
So this idiot goes to sit there and calls the school, asks if they were there, and then goes, "Oh, we're pulling them out." What?
And they were not clocked in. Chris said, "Okay," and to put them down as not coming in. And Meyer asked if he wanted to be placed on a waiting list in case something changes. Chris replied that they might as well, but they weren't sure what was going on. Meyer told him to keep them updated and that the teachers would be sad to not see the girls today. Chris thanked her and then I hung up. Meyer said that Shanann's mother, she couldn't remember her name, called about an hour after Chris called and spoke with Oriantis. Meyer said that Shanann's mother called back around 11:30 and spoke with her. Meyer said that Shanann's mother said that she was Shanann's mom and that everything was fine and not to tell anyone that she called. She said, "Don't tell anyone that I called. And excuse me for caring. Don't worry about anything." Meyer said that she told Shanann's mom
Sandy Rzucek was doing her own investigation, is what she was doing.
That she was glad everything was okay and that she was glad they were able to talk to Shanann. And Shanann's mother was hurried and hung up. Meyer said Shanann's mother called back again and spoke with Wood around 1500 hours, which is 3. I asked Meyer about Shanann's mother stating, "Excuse me for caring," and Meyer said that she assumed that she had spoken with Chris, who became upset that she had called the school. I asked Meyer if they told Chris that Shanann's mother...
Because he got upset with Nicole Atkinson for calling the police, and he was getting irritated that people were like coming to his house. Oh, man.
I'd called and she said no. The only time anyone at the school would talk to Chris that day was when he called in the morning. I asked Meyer about Chris's demeanor when he called, and she said he seemed normal, but she was surprised that the girls weren't coming back. Meyer said she suspected that they weren't really moving, and that was just an excuse. Meyer said it was strange because they had just spoken with Shanann recently, and everyone was excited about the girls coming back to the school. Meyer said it was strange to suddenly get a call from Chris stating the girls weren't coming back. Meyer said she didn't notice anything strange in Chris's demeanor, but thought that it was strange that he asked if the girls were there.
See,
I asked Meyer if Chris was the only one who typically called the school and dealt with the school issues, and she said no. Shanann did the majority of the pickups and drop-offs. Meyer said that Chris did come to school, but Shanann was a primary communicator.
So it's really interesting to look at that Chris was kind of fumbling over his words. He was literally telling them that he was taking them out of school, but then he asked, like, were they at school? Which is kind of weird to say. And then the whole fingerprint thing, like that fingerprints could be used in the future. So let's do it. Why not act on it? Let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to go subscribe to Zav Girl. Subscribe here on Zawoki's channel. Don't forget to leave the like, share with your friends, and we will see you guys in the next video. So please take care, be safe, as always, keep nerding on, and we'll see you guys in the next video.